It's the end of the month of July and I've got a bunch of fan mail saved up, so it's time for a fan mail opening. Actually, I have so much fan mail saved up, I'm gonna break it down into 2 different videos because it was just too much for one video. I didn't check my mail for a week, came back, and a lot of stuff had come in the mail. Let's get started with a couple packages from Daniel Skinner. Okay, we got, okay, promise I know how to open packages. What do we have here? So we have Kick-Ass, the Matthew Vaughn comic book movie from 10 years ago, and he has a new movie coming out in December, and I definitely have a ranking of his movies coming up, and I didn't previously own this movie, so this is one I probably would have purchased in the very near future in preparation for that video, but now I have it. Thanks, man. What else do we have here? Also from Daniel Skinner. We got 2 movies in this one. What do we have here? Edge of 17, a movie I've heard a ton of great things about, have intended to watch, but have not seen yet, as well as the 4-film Hunger Games collection. I have one of the Hunger Games movies, but I don't have the other 3. I have like one of the ones in the middle. The guy of Catching Fire is the only one that I own on Blu-ray. And so, very nice. Yeah, my wife actually had very fond memories from 10 years ago of her. If you don't know this, my wife's maiden name was Jennifer Lawrence. And then a few years later, an actress named Jennifer Lawrence became very famous because of the Hunger Games movie, so it's been a running joke with us. But 10 years ago, actually, I went to, I did 5 years straight, I went on some service trips to the Navajo Nation to like dig outhouses and lay foundations and stuff like that. And the first year I went, during the car rides, my wife was reading the Hunger Games books to everyone in the van because it's a very long drive from Texas to the middle of New Mexico and a very boring drive. So my wife read us the books. So I have very fond memories of this franchise, but I don't own the Blu-rays actually. Next one up we have Brandon Cartwright. What do we have here? Okie dokie. We have a note, make sure I didn't miss a note. Okay, we've got 3 movies here. First up, we've got Space Jam. There was a new Space Jam that came out this month, obviously, and now Space Jam has become an obsession of my kids. Oh, we did have a note. It was tucked in here, actually. I just saw a piece of paper. Oh, I should probably check that. Let me read the note real quick before I start talking. All right, so these movies are 3 of his favorites from his childhood, and we'll get into ties to my childhood too, but so Space Jam is one that my kids have thoroughly enjoyed the second one, and so then they're very interested in Looney Tunes in ways that they hadn't previously been because we don't normally watch Looney Tunes cartoons, but now Space Jam has brought it to their attention. Next up, we have An American Tail and American Tail 5 Goes West, both of which were childhood movies that from when I grew up, because I'm an 80s kid, and so these came out when I was a kid. This one was just a little bit before my time going to the theater, but like some of my earliest memories of watching a movie was, I think it was like my dad's 40th birthday, and he threw a wild 40th birthday, and so the kids, they put us at someone else's house, and we watched An American Tail. Like, that's my memory of my dad's 40th birthday, is watching American Tail across the street, and then years later heard all the wild things that happened at my dad's 40th birthday. Speaking of 40th birthdays, I turned 40 in November. So that's my early memory of this one. But then I was the proper appropriate age to see 5 Goes West when this one came out in the theater. So I actually saw this one in theaters, one of the early movies I would have seen. What year did it come out? How early was it? 1991, yeah. So that's right when it started becoming real regular for my family to go to the movies, and turned me into the person I am today. Thank you so much. That's very cool. I haven't shown my kids either one of these movies because we didn't own them. Not on DVD or anything like that. So now I have them, and now I can show them to my kids. I think I've played the song somewhere out there for them. That's their exposure to An American Tail, is just that one song, and now they can actually see the whole movie. All right, next up, we have this fan mail from Fan Mail. We have got 4 different movies in here. Okay, let's see where we are going with this. First off, we have got Skin Trade with Tony Draw and Dolph Lundgren. It's actually when I did see this one. I don't know. You get old and you start forgetting how long things ago. I was going to say, just a few years back when it came out, and I was like, pretty sure this came out quite a bit more than that. Yeah, 2015. So I watched this one whenever it first came out, but I haven't rewatched it since then. But we'll get to Tony Jaa in just a moment with one of the other movies that's in this list. But him teaming up with Dolph Lundgren, that's when Tony Jaa was just first starting to really transition over into Hollywood getting parts. And so let's be sure to check this one out. But I haven't rewatched it since then, so I need to check it out again. Next up, we have the Humanity Bureau with Nicolas Cage. Actually, earlier today I saw a Nicolas Cage movie in the theater called Pig. I haven't seen this one. I'm not familiar with this one, so I'm curious to check this one out. Apparently, anytime I recommend watching a Nicolas Cage movie, my wife's always on board with it. So picked a movie that we're probably going to be watching in the next 2 weeks right there, because if I go, hey, I got a new Nicolas Cage movie, I haven't heard of this one, she'll go, I'm in, let's watch it. Next up in here is The Protector 2. Now, this is interesting. This particular one ties to a couple of different things that tied into the story I just told. So I saw the movie Pig earlier today that has Nicolas Cage in it. Then went to go see it with my wife in the theater. One of the movies that the movie Pig reminded me of was the first The Protector. That I saw it when it first came out in the theaters. Took my wife to go see it, and she didn't know what she was in for. And I was like, yeah, it's a movie. It's like about a guy trying to get his elephant. And she's like, okay, let's go see it. And so then it turned out to be Tony Jaa, and I'd never seen. That was the first Tony Jaa movie I ever saw. Was The Protector, and I went I didn't know the background or anything like that. And was just blown away by this guy, Tony Jaa, who could just do incredible things. And my wife was into it because it was a guy trying to protect his elephant, which in the Pig, the Nicolas Cage movie we saw today, it's about a guy trying to get his pig back. And it's like the same sort of this guy's trying to get his thing back movies. And so, but I've never seen the second one. I haven't checked this one out yet. And so it's been like one of those things that I've been meaning to. It's been on my mind. I've been curious about it. It's one I know I could get my wife to watch. We have ties to it, but I've never actually seen it yet. So you picked a movie that lined up perfectly with something that's has been on my mind for a good bit. Next one on here is Sushi Girl. I'm not familiar with this one, but Mark Hamill, Tony Todd, some other familiar faces. Interesting. I don't know what this one is. So. I don't see a note on any of those to have a context. Sometimes people like to give me a note to let me know kind of why, what specific reason they wanted to spend me those specific films. Didn't see one of them. Next up, we have Amazon package. These ones. Okay. We have a note from Nick Thompson. Thank you so much, Nick. And what do we have here? 1408 with John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson. It's one of those movies I've seen around a lot. I've seen the cover. Obviously, John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson are great, but I've never seen the movie itself. So I'm curious, and now I can check this one out. And just based off the little descriptions on it, it seems like the sort of thing also that my wife could get into as well. Closing things out, we got a couple more packages from Daniel Skinner. This one, a book, perhaps? We have The Maze Runner. I have heard that the books are better than the movies, and that the movies didn't quite capture them, even though they had a great cast. And I think I heard a bunch of positive things about the books. The movies a little bit more mixed on, but I've never read the book. I think my wife has. I think she listened to it. I don't think she read it. But very cool. Yeah, I can check that one out one of these days and discover how close, how different the two are. Final package of the day, also from Mr. Skinner. Wowzers. Oh, we got First up, we got this little guy right here. Oh, there we zoom in on Thor, and I'm out of focus. So we got Thor right here. Nice, cool looking guy. And then he sent me, this is pretty amazing, the complete Blu-ray collection of, there you go. Focused on that one of Avatar: The Last Airbender, as well as The Legend of Korra. I keep hearing from people how amazing they are. And I've seen just a little bit. I started watching it during COVID, and then life got busy again, so I wasn't able to finish it. I got just a little bit in. There's also what I was trying to watch with my kids. And that's always tricky, because if I'm just binging it on my own time, I move at one pace. But when I have to watch it with them, it's tricky because I don't want my kids just sitting there watching TV all the time, and they don't only want to watch things that I want them to watch. And so that I could have to like ration it out, and it makes it people like shows like the Clone Wars as well as Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's where sometimes it's difficult for me to get through big, gigantic chunks of them. But that is amazing, man, because it's like unopened. Apparently there's a comic book, collector's clip packaging, all the fun stuff related to it. That is very, very, very cool. All right, thank you guys so much for writing me notes, sending me movies that you love, sending me movies that you know that I'm gonna watch for something in the future. It means the world to me that you would watch my videos and care enough to reach out in this fashion. It blows my mind every single month. Thank you guys so much for watching, and keep talking movies too much.